What is up, guys? Welcome to Jack 2 here on the PS4. I know when we were doing our Jack 1 playthrough, Jack and Daxter Precursor Legacy playthrough, we did the 100% walkthrough. I think at the beginning of that, I said I wanted to do the whole series, and I knew the whole series was getting remastered on PlayStation 4, but at the time, I could only find the first game. Well, it turns out the day I looked on the PlayStation Store was like probably 4 or 5 days before it was actually released. So I kind of just was like, whatever, I'll wait longer. And I checked literally last night and found out that all of the games, Jack and Daxter 1, Jack 2, Jack 3, and Jack X, are all on there for $40. And I ended up buying the collection. And we're playing this one here. So that's why we're playing it, and we're playing it right now. We're gonna beat the whole game. We can't really It's very hard to 100% this game, simply because there's like the precursor orbs. There's no power cells in this game, but the precursor orbs are like very hard to get, and you have to do these like really small like tasks to get them, and I'd rather not. So let's just go through and play the whole game. No Jack 2 game data on the memory card PS2. Insert a memory card slot. Would you like to create a Jack save file? Yes. We ain't using no memory card. What is this, 2005? 2004? 2003?
For every age, there is a time of trial. The rocks faced such a fire before they were the strength beneath our feet. The plants braved vast winds before their roots could give us life. As a sage of considerable years, I have known only one such great ordeal. Yet the hero it created was a champion for all time. Today's the big day, Jack. I hope you are prepared for whatever happens.
I think I figured out most of this machine. It interacts somehow with that large precursor ring. I just hope we didn't break anything moving it here to the lab.
Easy for you to say. We did all the heavy lifting.
Daxter, don't touch anything! Though the precursors vanished long ago, the artifacts they left behind can still do great harm.
Or great good, if you figure out how to use them.
I've had some experience with such things. I know you can make it work.
Looks like Jack still got the mojo.
Interesting. It appears to be reading out some preset coordinates.
Look at that.
Finally, the last rift gate has been opened.
What are those things?
So this is how it happened.
You cannot hide from me, boy.
Do something, Jack!
What's this do? Or that? How about this one? Everybody press all the buttons.
What was that thing?
Hang on, everyone!
I want on this thing.
Find yourself, Jack!
Okay. I swear, that's the last time I ever touch any stupid precursor crap.
There he is. Move in. Step away from the animal.
Ah!
Forget the rat. The Baron wants him. We've been waiting for you.
Don't worry, Jack. I'll save you before you know it.
Dark eco injection cycle complete. Bio readings nominal and unchanged.
Well, nothing. I was informed that this one might be different.
He is surprisingly resistant to your experiments, Baron Praxis. I fear the Dark Warrior program has failed.
You should at least be dead with all the dark eco I pumped into you.
What now? Metalhead armies are pressing their attacks. Without a new weapon, my men cannot hold them off forever.
I will not be remembered as the man who lost this city to those vile creatures. Move forward with the final plan and finish off this thing tonight.
As you wish. I'll be back later.
Ding ding, third floor. Body chains, roach food, torture devices. Hey, buddy, you seen any heroes around here? Whoa! What'd they do to you? Jack, it's me, Daxter. That's a fine hello. I've been crawling around in this place, risking my tail, literally, to save you. I've been looking for you for 2 years. Say something, just this once.
I'm gonna kill Praxis.
Shh. Right now, we gotta get you out of here. Just let me figure out how to open the security locks for your chair so I can... Or, you can do it. Jack, easy now. Easy, buddy. It's your old pal Daxter, remember?
Daxter?
What the heck was that? Sheesh! Remind me not to piss you off. Come on, tall, dark, and gruesome. We're out of here. I brought you some new threads. Put them on.
Okay, so as you can see, things have changed. He is not the same Jack that we knew in Jack 1. We saw the same moveset pretty much. That hasn't changed. But basically, to explain that opening cutscene for those who might not be familiar, for those who obviously haven't played this game, of course I remember how to jump. Come on. Basically, at the end of the first game, if you recall,
Orbs are worth a lot now. We might find a few hidden around, or get some doing difficult tasks. We'll be able to buy stuff with them.
yeah, difficult tasks, by the way. But if you remember, at the end of the first game, when we opened up that giant gate with the 100 power cells, that glowing whatever it was inside, that was basically that rift gate that we brought out, and that time travel machine, if you will. And yeah, Jack has basically been locked up here, being experimented on for 2 years, basically being tormented by the by Baron Praxis here in New Haven City. A little side note: Daxter, in the 2 years that he was on his own,
Tell me you remember how to roll.
actually got his own game titled just Daxter. And you can actually play it. It's not a PlayStation game. I think it's a PSP game. I've never played it personally, but
Ooh, that's a high ledge. Try jumping once, then jump again while in the air to reach that one.
I can imagine it's a pretty fun game. So now we need to escape this prison we're in.
Break that crate.
And I think this is probably
This sector is on high alert.
one of my favorite Jack games. I think it's second to the first game. It's definitely been a while since I played this one though.
Beginning our sweep.
I think it's been like the longest since I've played this one.
Good job. The crate had a health pack inside. Pick it up. You'll want to keep healthy, Jack, or we'll do the fighting.
Surrender yourself. You are under arrest.
Surrender yourself. We ain't surrendering. Yeah, and as you also saw in that opening cutscene there, Jack has this new side of him.
We have movement on level 1.
Basically, as you saw, he's being infused with Dark Eco, which, as we know from the first game, Dark Eco was pretty bad, and it still really hasn't changed. Dark Eco is still pretty bad, but basically in this newer,
Breaking stuff's fun, right?
See that new Jag 7 racer? Sweet ride.
this new era that we're in, Dark Eco has become more of a commodity than that's something to fear. It's like, the way I would describe it is Dark Ego has sort of become like oil, if you will. Like, people use it in their daily lives. At least that's how they describe it. You know, the Baron uses it to trade with the Metalheads, which is another faction in this game, as opposed to before where we had the Lurkers. The Lurkers are still here, and I'm going to talk for a bit here because there's going to be another cutscene out here. Lurkers are still a part of this world. They haven't like been completely removed from it, but there's a new faction of the Metalheads, and basically the people of this New Haven city, and especially Baron Praxis's whole group of people that he advises, they sort of treat it as like a high value commodity, sort of like oil, if you will. It's sort of valuable now, which is kind of weird, and all the other ecos except for maybe green have pretty much vanished. There is no red eco around, no yellow or blue, no sages, so things are very different now.
We're free, Jack! Thanks to me. Nice to breathe some fresh air, huh? We'll get that Baron Praxis guy, all right.
And now we're in a new city. Completely different landscape. Completely different world.
Hello, strangers. My name is Kor. May I help?
You look like a reasonably smart man. I want information. Where the hell am I?
Sorry. He's new to the whole conversation thing.
Well, my angry young friend, you are a guest of His Majesty Baron Praxis, the ruler of glorious Haven City.
I was just a guest.
Haven City. I don't know why I was calling it New Haven.
Inside a cell or inside the city, walls surround us both. We are all his prisoners. Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'd move on if I were you.
By order of His Eminence, the Grand Protector of Haven City, Baron Praxis, everyone in this section is hereby under arrest for suspicion of harboring underground fugitives. Surrender and die.
Excuse me, sir. Don't you mean surrender or die?
Not in this city. Protect us from these guards, and I'll introduce you to someone who can help you.
Surrender and die, they say. So yeah, this is basically a new ability that we have now. It's basically to become Dark Jack. And as you can see, we pretty much kick everybody's ass. It's a time-based thing, so it doesn't last forever.
That was cool. Do it again.
Something's happening to me. Something he did. I can't control it.
Very impressive.
You okay, Jack?
What you just did was very brave. This child is important.
This kid? He looks kind of scruffy.
You are in a restricted zone. Move along.
Thank you for your help, but I must get this boy to safety.
Hey! What about us?
There is an underground group waging war against Baron Praxis. Its leader, the Shadow, could use fighters like you. Go to the slums, find a dead-end alley near the city wall. Ask for Torn. He can help you.
Well, I guess we gotta do what the man said. Okay, now we're gonna get trophies for this game, too. Which is good.
The map is displayed in the lower right. Follow the icons on the map to reach important destinations.
Yeah, and as you might be able to tell, this game sort of came out around the time I think that Grand Theft Auto sort of became a big thing. So it has that similar style where you can fight citizens, you can steal these people's vehicles and stuff like that. Sort of that aspect where you can just interact with pretty much everything around you for a to a certain extent. So yeah, it's definitely a lot different than the first game, as you might be able to tell. And yeah, you can just take people's vehicles just like that. Which is actually, I think, for me, I remember when I first played this game, was probably the probably the best thing about the game, is be able to just go and jack anybody's vehicle. And you can change hover zones as well.
Traffic or ground obstacles. Thank you for using the vehicle.
But yeah, you can just trash a vehicle, take a new one. You can steal the Crimson Guard's vehicles, which are those people with the guns out there. That's the Crimson Guard. And you can basically steal their vehicles. They'll get on you, like you can activate them against you, just like the cops. So yeah, here's the underground.
We're looking for a guy named Torn. Core sent us. Are you Torn?
Maybe this guy's a new, like you used to be.
New faces make me nervous. Word is you're out to join the fight for the city. You know, picking the wrong side could be unhealthy.
We want to see the Shadow.
Not likely.
Not
If you wanna
likely.
join something, why don't you and your pet go join the circus? Unless you've got the fur for a really tough task. Steal the Baron's banner from the top of the ruined tower and bring it back to me. Then, maybe we'll talk.
So right away we get handed our first task. And this is to go steal this banner in the ruins. Which, sort of like the first game, there's a lot of different areas around the city center. Or basically the city that we're just in right now. There's a lot of different areas we can go to throughout the whole game. And new areas, of course, become available as the game goes on. Okay, I just, like, ran into another vehicle and sent it flying, and I blew the fuck up. Holy shit. Yeah, the bigger the vehicle, the slower they go. So if you take, like, one of the smaller ones, you go a little faster with them. Oh! I'm trying not to activate the Crimson Guard because I don't want to die for no reason. Or get killed off the bat. That would kind of suck. So yeah, he just wants to go. He wants us to go grab this banner for him, basically to see what it is we're capable of doing. He doesn't really trust us at the moment, and I don't think you can really blame him. But as you can see, a lot of people don't really like Baron Praxis. I mean, if you just take a look at the city around you, how everything is sort of walled in. You know, the people are pretty much held at gunpoint for a majority of their lives. So it's more like a imprisoned city than anything. Not too much of an opportunity to actually live a free life in the city under the harsh rule of Baron Praxis. It's actually good we get some health back there. We're kind of low. But, you see our health bar down there. There is actually a dark eco gauge that basically tells us when we can activate our dark mode and actually just go beast mode and kill everything, which is nice. Oh, those are false. That's a false bridge right there. And I think we just need to basically climb to the top of this tower without dying, which shouldn't be too hard, right? Some familiar obstacles from the first game. Drop down a couple. As far as difficulty goes, though, I would say... Yeah, see, we're already here. As far as difficulty goes, I would definitely say... And there's that familiar sound we recognized in the first game. That's a real... I kind of forgot they did that. That's a nice touch they added. As we take a nice adventure on our way back. And Torn is there to meet us, but that tower comes crashing down. And the thing was practically falling apart as we were climbing up it.
Yeah, I guess you guys are in.
But he's pretty impressed. Judging by the way that that building looked, he probably thought, now that I think of it, he probably thought that we were gonna die doing that. So that's probably why he told us to go do it in the first place. Because, like, he's like, if these guys are really made of anything, they'll be able to survive this mission, come back with the flag, and that's what we ended up doing. So that's it's kind of funny to think of that now.
Jack.
We're going back. We're going back. So basically, we're just going to return this flag, and then we're going to end the episode.
Decontamination complete.
I'll probably keep these episodes to like 30 minutes or so. And usually at the end of certain missions or areas like that, there's a vehicle waiting, which is super nice. So you don't have to go and try and hijack one. There's usually just one sitting there vacant. And those little question mark things there, those are the difficult tasks that we can do to get orbs and stuff like that. And some of them are very hard. And there's a bunch of them. It's very time consuming. And I'm sure that would help you get to 100% as far as like collectibles go. Even though they're definitely not mandatory. But we're gonna 100% this game just based on mission progress. And yeah, there's a whole lot to say in this beginning episode. I'm kind of probably like fumbling over my words and shit too. But yeah, this right here is basically the main area where we're gonna be coming back to. This is the headquarters for the underground. So we'll be coming back here a lot to get missions and to come back for missions and stuff. And this is what it looks like.
Woo! Being a big hero sure makes you thirsty.
The Baron turned off all water to the slums. He's willing to sacrifice innocent lives just to destroy the underground. I shouldn't be surprised. I've seen his evil before while serving in the Crimson Guard. That's why I quit.
You were a Crimson Guard? Well, that explains your charming sense of humor.
My friend in the Guard tells me the valve to turn the water back on is located outside the city, at the pumping station.
Outside the city? What about the security walls?
What about the metalheads? It ain't a petting zoo out there. Peeps be getting deep sixed.
Find the large drain pipe in the north wall. It'll take you outside the city to the pumping station. Get to the main valve and open it. If you survive, the slums will be indebted to you. If not, maybe we'll have a touching moment of silence in your honor.
I'd like to give him a touching moment.
Whatever that means. But yeah, so now he wants us to go do another task, another mission, if you will. Basically, to go restore the water for this portion of the city known as the slums. Basically, what Baron Praxis is trying to do is just root out the underground members that he does not want around, probably by making so they can't get any food or water, which would obviously suck a lot. Imagine going to your faucet and not having any running water. And there's no way to get it back unless you forcefully go out of your way against laws and literally break the law trying to get the water back on. Yeah, sometimes you can run over people. Yeah, I remember when this first came out and first playing it for the first time. It's just so different than the first game. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around. To think like how much things have changed, but we have essentially time traveled many years into the future. I'm actually not sure how many. I think somewhere it said it was like 300 years into the future we've traveled, which I think might be the accurate number. Get out of my way. As you'll see, I probably suck at driving. You'll probably see that a lot throughout this. But again, before we end the episode, I'm just going to get us over here to where we need to go. Before I end the episode, one last thing to sort of say about this game. The area of the city that we're in right now is not the only area. I think if I pull up the map here. So yeah, as you can see, there's a whole lot of the city we do not have access to. Right here is basically the first section of the city we can only get through, and where you see these red bar here, or the red bar down in the bottom right and the green bar in the middle, those are barriers preventing us from going to different sections of the city, which we can unlock later. I guess if you want to think of it as like green sage village, blue sage village, red sage village, and then all the different areas you can go to from there. Think of it that way. So like in this section we had the ruins, and now we have the pumping station, the military base I think we'll end up going to in later episodes, which is this giant red square. And then as we move into like the green sector, the red sector, I think there's a purple sector, and a yellow sector in the city. There's more areas and stuff, and there's so many missions, and the storyline is so good, and I hope you guys enjoy as we get started. Yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And the next episode, we're going to go through the pumping station, try to return the water back on, for our underground members, our newfound friends here in Haven City. So, yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.